In Advanced Surface Shaders 1.5 for Unity, a new type of high-end visual effect was added, Volumetric Objects. To demonstrate how these can enhance a scene, I'm going to add them to this Angry Bots project. To start with, let's place an effect inside this portal. As a player, you start here in Angry Bots, move through here and into the first room. I think it'd be pretty cool to add a quarantine-like effect, like you may have seen in games like Mass Effect or Doom 3. So we'll add a box volume to achieve this effect. We'll place it where we need it in the room and adjust its size to fit the area we want. So we're just going to make it fill up that room. That should do. Now, volumetric objects in Advanced Surface Shaders are true volumetric objects. The visibility through them is determined based on how much of them you're looking through. So as you see, looking through this part here, where I'm looking out of the box a shorter distance than I am over here, I can see through it and see what's beyond it and what's inside it. You can also change the visibility using this property here to determine the distance through the object that you can see before it becomes fully opaque. And when the camera is inside it, it still works as you'd expect. Now for this effect, we're going to lower the visibility, or raise the visibility to make it less opaque. And we're going to change the color to a red. And for volumetric objects, you can add texture effects, which are sampled in world space. So let's add this gradient effect, change the texture scale to 1. And we're going to make it move down at 0.3 meters per second. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see how that works. Now I've modified this Angry Bots demo to play like a third-person shooter. So let's run over here. And here you can see our volumetric effect in action. Now let's try a sphere volume. Sphere volumes are much the same as box volumes, but they're good for creating effects like light sources emitting. And in this case, I think this futuristic sign here could use some sort of subtle light emission effect. So let's put this volume around it. We'll raise the radius a little bit, make it a bit bigger. Just decrease the visibility, change the color to be similar to that of the light. And also we can just lower the alpha value here. So I'll make it a fairly subtle effect. I don't need a texture for this one, I think that will work quite well. So let's have a look at another couple of effects while we're at it. Now in this section of the level you come down this ramp and into this room where there are these ventilation systems here which emit some sort of smoke. So with volumetric shapes we can put in a local fog volume just in this area. So with the box volume, we'll just make it fill up this room. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's do similar to before, we'll just make it a more grey smoke-like colour. We'll add a clouds texture to it. We'll make those clouds move downwards at a fairly slow speed. And maybe also just to the side a tad. We'll decrease the visibility a little bit here, but we'll still want to make it pretty hard to see. Alright, so that's pretty cool. And as we come up onto the catwalk, we should still be able to see it below. Alright, I think I have time for one more effect. These kamikaze buzzer guys here, I think they could use some sort of shield effect around them. So I've got this sphere volume here, which I'll just make a child of that. Put it at the right position. We'll make it just a bit bigger than the buzzer. We'll chuck on Sandy shield gradient got here. And let's change the color of it to be similar to, well, let's try like a blue color, sort of like its buzzer. Or we could also try an orange color, similar to its thrusters. Alright, so we're going to make that move down fairly quickly. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to apply it to the prefab, make all the buzzers look like that. So let's give this a play. Alright, so here we are. Let's do a quick run through and have a look at our effects. There's the buzzer with the shield on it. Let's take him out. Come through here and we'll see our quarantine zone. As a true volumetric effect, the camera and the player can move through it and it will all render appropriately. So there's our fairly subtle sphere volume. Sort of adds a volume of light around that UTEC sign. So we'll just head towards our last effect now, which is the volume of fog just inside that room. And those sort of localized fog volumes are very, very useful. You can put those all over your scene, different types, different texture settings and values within them to provide all sorts of different effects. So here with that cloud effect moving down, it's a very, very, very effective effect. So here you can do things like make this black and minimize the visibility within a certain area of a level. And we can come up here and see that from above and still see the scrolling texture effects working from above. And here's a couple more buzzers to end the demo. And that's just a small taste of what can be achieved with the Volumetric Objects, just one of the many shaders and effects we have as part of the Advanced Surface Shaders package, available right now in the Unity Asset Store. I have no doubt that with a quick play of some unique textures and settings, you'll be able to come up with some never before seen effects for your project.